Hello friends, today we will explore operating cash flow, a crucial metric that shows how much cash a company generates from its core business operations. Shareholders and investors love this number because it reveals a company's ability to generate cash, pay bills, and invest in growth without relying on external funding. So let's break it down. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more finance insights and analysis. Let's start. Let's try to understand what is cash flow statement and why it is important. As you know, in a financial statement, there are three reports. One is the balance sheet, which talks about the asset and liabilities of the company. Second is profit and loss account, which gives you the number about expenditure and the income earned by the company. And the last one is cash flow statement. Now, let's understand why it is very important. So, cash flow statement helps in understanding the source and application of cash in the organization. Source means the inflows, and application means the outflow of the cash. So here I'm going to talk about one example and I'll show you that how cash flow helps the shareholder to understand the position of the company. So let's take an example, ABC Limited. You can see the profit and loss account here. Income, revenue from operation 50 lakhs. Expenses, cost of sales 20 lakhs. Gross profit is 30 lakhs. Then the operating expenses are employee expenses 6.5, depreciation 4 lakh, other expenses 2.5, other gain 1 lakh, and the net profit is 16 lakhs. Now let's take a scenario. I'm talking from the cash flow point of view. Out of 15 lakhs revenue, the company could collect 30 lakhs in cash. That means 20 lakhs still remain with the customer. It is reported as trade receivable in the balance sheet. Similarly, cost of sales out of 20 lakh, only 17 lakh has been paid to the vendor. That means 3 lakh is reported as accounts payable in the balance sheet. And the gross profit in cash is 30 lakh minus 17 lakh is 23 lakhs. When it comes to expenses, employee expenses out of 6.5 lakhs, 6 lakh has been paid in cash. That means 50,000 could be a provision, maybe provision for gratuity or provision for any leave encashment. Depreciation is always a non-cash item because it is on the capital expenditure made on day first, and then every year you have depreciation, which is a non-cash item. So it doesn't have any impact on the cash flow. So it is nil. Then other expenses out of 2.5 lakhs, 2 lakh has been paid by cash, and other gain and losses 1 lakh. In that 50,000 is by cash. So what is the net cash flow we have here? It is 14.5 lakh as the cash flow from operations. That means out of 16 lakh profit, the company collected 14.5 lakhs towards the cash. Let's take another scenario. Out of 50 lakh, cash collected from customer is 45 lakhs. Cost of sales from 20 lakh, 15 lakh has been paid. Gross profit in cash is 30 lakhs. Now from employee expenses out of 6.5, 6 lakh has been paid in cash. Depreciation as usual, no impact on cash flow. Other expenses 2.5 lakh, out of that 1 lakh has been paid by cash. Other gains 1 lakh, out of that 50,000 paid in cash. And the net cash flow is 22.5 lakhs. So now if you are the shareholder and you want to see which scenario is good for ABC Limited, definitely you will select the second scenario because the cash generated is higher. It doesn't matter what is the profit reported in the profit and loss account. It's more matter is how much cash the company is generating. The question is why cash is very important, because the company can invest the cash in new projects, in new growth, and need not borrow money from the banks or from the institutions. So under Ind AS 7, cash flow statement has been classified into three types of cash inflows and outflows. First one is cash flows from operating activities, which I explained you in the previous slide. Second is cash flows from investing activities. That means payment towards purchase of assets, because these are all investment made by the company, right? Proceeds from sale of assets, interest income from investment. So if you see, these are not the core business operational activities. It relates to core business, but not operational activity. It doesn't happen every day, right? So these are all investing activities. The company is investing so that by investing these assets, the company can generate revenue. So it will be shown separately in the cash flow statement. And third is cash flows from financing activities. That means all funding to the company, like capital raised, borrowing from banks, interest paid on loans, right? So when you go through the cash flow statement of any company, you will find the cash flow is categorized into three parts. One is operating, one is investing, and third is financing activities. Now, how the reconciliation is prepared? The opening cash balance, that is the last year's closing and current year opening, add cash flow adjustments, operating activities, investing activities, financing activities, and the total will match to your closing cash balance. This is how you will see from opening to closing moment. Now let's try to understand what is operating cash flow. Operating cash flow is the cash generated or used by a company's core business operations, its regular activities of producing and selling goods or services over a specific period, excluding investing and financing cash flows. So in simple terms, operating cash flow shows how much actual cash the business is generating from its day-to-day operations and is a key indicator of operational health and liquidity. So I'm going to talk about one example of a restaurant where you'll get clarity that how this operating cash flow gives trigger or gives data to the shareholder to understand that how the business is doing. Restaurant business case one, you can see the expenditure for a restaurant: grocery 10,000, vegetables 6,000, staff salary 5,000, rent 4,000, furniture depreciation 1,000. But there is one more column which I have added is in cash. That means out of the P&L amount, how much has been paid in cash. So in this case, grocery paid in cash is 8,000, vegetable 2,000, staff salary 5,000, rent 4,000, and furniture depreciation is a non-cash item, so nothing is paid in cash. So out of 26,000 P&L, in cash paid is 19,000. Coming to the right side, income sales 20,000, in cash collected from the customer is 14,000. So the net loss is 6,000, and this is the P&L prepared by the restaurant business. Now, when I have to prepare the cash flow statement, in this case, it is very simple. The total inflow is 14,000. That is what collected from the customer. And the cash outflow is 19,000, which is paid to different parties, right? So the operating cash flow here is negative. That means the inflow is lesser than the outflow. So you have a negative operating cash flow of rupees 5,000. What is the risk here? The risk is business has to borrow money to manage the cash flow. Now this 5,000, from where you will pay? Either you pay from your capital what you have introduced. If that money is already used, then the next option is to borrow money from the market. So it's create pressure on the business. So when the company want to invest further or want to grow, it has to borrow money from the market because in-house it is not generating revenue. Now question is, even though the sales increase in future, right? Still the company will create more negative cash flow because the collection from the customer is not up to the mark, or the payment terms agreed with the vendors is very short compared to the payment terms agreed with the customer. In that scenario also, the company has to burn cash. Now let's take same restaurant business case 2. Expenditure here: grocery same 10,000, vegetables 6,000, staff salary 5,000, rent 4,000, furniture 1,000, depreciation. And in cash, if you see, again it is 19,000, same to the previous case. And what we have done here, I have changed is sales 20,000, collected in cash is 20,000, and the net loss is 6,000. So the change what I have done from case 1 to case 2 is the collection from the customer has increased, and whatever sales is reported in P&L, the same amount has been collected from the customer. So what's happening here? When you prepare the cash flow here, the inflow is 20,000, the cash outflow is 19,000. So there is a positive operating cash flow of 1,000 rupees. Now it's a good news for the investor or good news for the management. Why? Because they need not go and borrow money from the market, right? That means they're able to manage the cash properly and they're able to generate surplus cash. So this 1,000 rupees can be used for further growth. So in nutshell, these are the two examples which I've given you. So you understand that how a negative cash flow impacts a business and how a positive cash flow helps the company to grow. Now let's see how the calculation of operating cash flow is made under Ind AS 7. So this is the format which is used, and it is not an exhaustive list. I have given some examples here, but yes, based on the P&L and balance sheet items, this format will change. So it starts with net profit before tax, that is PBT, profit before tax, and then you have to do all adjustment for three items. One is non-cash items, which is reported under P&L to be removed. All financing activities, expense or income to be removed, and all investing activities, expense and income has to be removed. So let's see few examples here. Profit before tax less depreciation and amortization, it's a non-cash item to be removed. Finance cost, it's a financing activities to be removed. Interest income, investing activities to be removed. Inventory obsolescence provision, so it is a provision created, there is no cash outflow, so it has to be removed, non-cash item. Provision for doubtful debt, similar like inventory obsolescence, to be removed. Mark to market, loss on derivative contracts, it's a provision to be removed. Loss on sale, retirement of fixed assets, to be removed, it's an investing activity. Unrealized forex exchange loss, it is also a non-cash item to be removed. Dividend income from mutual fund, it's again an investing activity, so it has to be removed. What you find after that? Operating cash flow before working capital changes. Now, after that, we have to do all the adjustment of the movement in the current assets and current liabilities. Why? To determine the real cash inflow and outflow. In my previous example, I have written very clearly that what I have got in cash, right? But in real companies, when you prepare the P&L balance sheet, nobody will talk about how much cash you have got for each line item. So the movement in the working capital will help you to determine the real cash inflow and outflow. So what are the adjustment you're going to do here? Increase, decrease in trade receivables, inventories, trade advances, other current assets, trade payables, other liabilities, provisions, other current assets. Once you do this adjustment, you get cash generated from operation. After that, the tax amount you have paid to the government has to be reduced. And then you find net cash flows used by operating activities. Few things to note here, and many people they get confused, so I'm going to clarify here. Increase in current assets always reduce from operating cash, right? You can see in the left side, increase is in bracket, that means to be reduced, and decrease means positive. So now question is, when there is an increase in trade receivable, increase in inventories, why it has to be reduced? Because the money is not encashed, it is lying in the balance sheet. If the inventory has increased, that means the cash is in inventory, right? You have not encashed. You can encash only when you sell to the customer. Similarly, in the reverse case, decrease in current liability compared to the opening balance. So always reduce from operating cash because amount has been paid, hence liability reduced, right? So I'll show you one example where you'll understand more about how the adjustments are done. Now I am going to show you a practical example how the cash flow statement is prepared when you have data of P&L and balance sheet. So the profit and loss account, this is for full year 25-26. That means 1st of April 2025 to 31st March 2026. And let's see what is there in the expenditure and what is there in the income. So expenditure, you have cost of goods sold 1 lakh, maintenance cost 20,000, IT expenses 8,000, staff salary 5,000, rent 4,000, plant and machinery depreciation 9,000, furniture depreciation 1,000, income tax 2,000, and on the right side you have sales 2 lakhs, interest on FD 3,000, dividend received 1,000, and the net profit is 55,000, right? Now let's see what is there in the balance sheet. So balance sheet I have given here is opening and closing because this is required to find out the movement in working capital. Hence I have to give opening and closing in both side, liability and assets. So liabilities, you have capital 2 lakhs, opening, closing you have 2 lakh 6,000, reserve and surplus 1 lakh, and current year 1 lakh 55,000. The 55,000 is coming from the current year P&L account. Trade payables, opening 30,000, closing 42. Rent payable, opening 0, current year end 2,000. Provision opening 4,000, closing 1,000. When it comes to assets, plant and machinery opening 1 lakh 50, closing is 1 lakh 20. Furniture opening 30,000, closing 20,000. Investment 50,000 opening, closing is 90,000. Trade receivable opening 30,000, closing 45,000. Inventories opening 40,000, closing 32. Cash and bank opening was 34,000 and closing is 99,000. Now let's prepare the cash flow for this P&L and balance sheet. So we'll start with net profit before tax. So what is the net profit here? 55,000. Tax is 2,000. So I am adding that and I'm starting with 57,000 rupees because profit before tax. Then what are the adjustment I have to do? I have to first add non-cash item. I have to remove financing activities. I have to remove investing activities. So here I am adding depreciation and amortization 10,000 rupees because those are non-cash item. And because of this item, the profit has been reduced. But now I am adding back so that I find the real cash flow, right? So non-cash item to be added back. Less interest income and dividend income, both are investing activities. Hence minus 3,000 minus 1,000. Right? Then what I'm finding, operating cash flow before working capital changes. Now, increase, decrease in trade receivables. So what is the trade receivable we have? 45,000 closing, opening is 30,000, right? So trade receivable has increased during the year, right? So any increase has to be subtracted here. That means the money is not in cash, the money is lying in the balance sheet. It's a loss for the company, right? So minus 15,000. Then decrease in inventory. Inventory, if you see, Last time opening was 40,000, now it's 32,000. It has decreased. So it's added to the cash flow, right? You have encashed the inventory. So it is adding back. Similarly, trade payables, opening was 30,000. Now it has increased to 42,000. So increase in trade payable is saving of cash. You have not paid it. So it has to be added back. So 12,000 has been added. In other liabilities, it is rent payable, which has increased during the year. So you are adding back. Similarly, in case of provisions, opening was 4,000 and closing is 1,000. So it has decreased. Hence, it has to be subtracted 3,000. So cash generated from operation is 67,000. Now from here, the tax paid is 2,000 and the net cash from operating activities 65,000 rupees. So even though the company has generated a profit of 55,000 rupees, but on cash flow side, it has operating positive cash flow of 65,000 rupees, which is really good, and the shareholders will be happy by seeing this. Now, when it comes to management, when it comes to shareholders, one thing you have to keep in mind that the shareholders mostly look into cash flow statement to see that whether the management is able to manage the working capital and the overall cash, flows of the company. Even though investing activities and financing activities are important for the shareholders, but operating cash flow is very, very important because they would like to see that if tomorrow the company want to expand, the company want to invest in R&D, the company want to invest in new innovations, whether the company has sufficient cash to invest. Or for example, tomorrow there is a crisis in the market. There could be a case that there is some, like we had situation in COVID, right? There is no customers to buy. In that case, do you have cash flow, positive cash flow to maintain your day-to-day expenses? Even though sales has come down, but your operating expenses will be there, salary, rent. Are you able to make payment of that? So all these points, the shareholders keep in mind to see that are you generating cash? Because when you borrow money from the market, it's always create burden on the company because again you have to pay unnecessary interest on that. So that's it from my side on the operating cash flow. Hope you like this video, and if you have not subscribed to my channel, request you to subscribe to the channel. You can share this video with your friends, and I will also make one more video on investing and financing activities so that you'll get more clarity about how to calculate on those cash flows. Thank you.